everyone, this is Golden Warrior 0000 here with my review of Smackdown vs. Raw 2010 for the Xbox 360. Now, once again, let me just start off by saying that I am a huge WWE fan. I love the WWE and mostly everything involved in it. Although I've slowed down a bit over the years and I'm not as huge a fan as I used to be, I'm still a pretty big WWE fan, so this game will get a very positive review just because I'm a WWE fan, but since I'm also a WWE fan, on the flip side of it, I will be looking at it very critically because as a WWE fan, I like things to be specific, precise, and good. So let's begin the review, and I'll smack down your asses, bitches! Okay, first of all, I do have a complaint I do have a complaint to start this whole thing off. The fact that there are not as many legends as there used to be in the series kind of irks me a little. I mean, I kind of like some of the legends and older characters that they put into the game. It was interesting and fun to play as legends. Like pitting, I don't know, Rick Rude against Randy Orton, or the Big Show against Rikishi or something like that. It would be great if they could put some of those old characters back into the game. It'd make the game a lot more fun than it is. But instead, they gave a minimal amount of legends. That's just not as fun as it used to be. I wish they had more legends. That would be nice and everything, you know? Another complaint I have is with the story mode. The creative story mode, actually. I mean, it's good that you can create your own story and dialogue and everything. I mean, I'd like to hear their voices when I'm creating dialogue, but you can't expect that since there's going to be a lot of dialogue, and that's a little bit over the top. But that's not the problem I had. The problem is it's a bit confusing if you don't know what you're doing. If you don't know what you're doing, you can find yourself struggling around, wondering, how do I get blank effect, or how do I get blank to happen, or what do I do if blank happens and I want to get rid of it? Sometimes you really just don't know what to do. It would be nice if they had like a tutorial or something that explains some of the things, or a frequently asked questions section somewhere in the game where I told you exactly what you needed to do. But they don't do that. Instead, they seem to expect you to know exactly what to do while you're messing around with the creative story mode. Now, I created my own story, and after a while, it gets very boring and tedious. It's interesting at first, but if you don't like repetitivity and a little bit of boring, you're going to get very easily bored by creative story mode because it's just long and tedious, and a lot of people aren't going to want to use it. It needs to be simplified, upgraded. There's a lot of things they need to do to edit that and make it a lot better than it is at the current moment. Okay, now on to the actual gameplay. The actual gameplay is good. It's always been good. There's no reason to it's ever been bad. I mean, the rope physics, okay, I'll give it to you there. That one's still a little weird. But, I always have liked the gameplay, the match type, the set of matches. The thing they took away this year, the fact that divas can't fight against male superstars, I kind of like that. Every once in a while, giving myself a nice challenge by pitting the weakest diva against the strongest superstar in the entire game. I always gave myself that little challenge, or putting a diva in a 3-on-1 handicap match. That was fun. I wish they would put that back in there. That was a really fun thing to do, and now all you get to mix tag team matches, and you can't even attack the other opponent unless the ref's down. That's just not as fun as it used to be, you know what I mean? The Road to WrestleMania mode. Okay, let's go to that one. The Road to WrestleMania mode is very interesting because each one is a unique storyline, one that you don't have, and sometimes you get choices here or there. And the special things where you gotta like complete a special, like pin your opponent in under 5 minutes and you'll get something special. That's interesting, and it's usually somewhat related to whatever you're doing at the time. And that's something I like. You gotta unlock things as you go through story mode. That's a classic theme in video games. But what I didn't really like was the creative superstar Road to WrestleMania. I felt it was a bit lackluster and that it needed, some better characters, some higher energy characters, rather than Santino Marella. I mean, I really think they could have done a lot better with it. I think they kind of failed in that aspect for the creative superstar Road to WrestleMania thing. Another thing that I kind of had a problem with was the, that one mode where you go through, play matches, you get a certain number of stars, and then you can challenge for number one contendership, and then you can challenge for the championship, and then you keep repeating it. It's basically just repetition, 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 and after a while it gets a little bit fun, but it can get really boring and pointless. I mean, it needs to be turned up and excited in some way. I would say replace that mode with the General Manager mode, because General Manager mode was better than this one. This one's basically a dumbed-down story mode without any actual story. And after a while, it gets very boring and tedious. I mean, for me, it's fun at times, but I find myself giving it more and more getting more and more tedious as time went on, rather than getting more and more fun. Okay, now it's time for my overall review of the game. Overall, this is a very good game, but it still has problems that the other games had in it too. I mean, I really don't see enough improvement here to make this an over-the-top great game. I used to think this is the greatest game ever, but if you sit down and take a look at it, it's really not as good a game as you would like it to get. I'd have to say this game gets a 2.5 out of 5. Just because there are so many things that need improving. Not because it's not good to play. It's fun to play and has a lot of replayability. It just needs a lot of improvement in certain areas. Okay, that's it for this review. This has been Golden Warrior 0000 saying, be sure to watch WWE. It is still good no matter what anyone else may tell you. Goodbye.